So I attempted to make these scary pizzas for Halloween, and it was my first time even getting into something that included basically making like art on food, or like different scenes on like a piece of food basically that depicts a picture, literally a picture. And I wanted to like do ghosts on there, like a mummy pizza, and it was a lot of fun making it. Let's just take a look at how it all came out at the end. It is my first attempt, but I am using my tried and tested pizza dough recipe, and this is going to be a Napoletana style pizza in your home oven broiler. Now the sauce is very easy to make, and I'm going to make that ahead of time and just let that sit in the fridge. The longer it sits, the better it is. There's some olive oil, crushed up tomatoes, you can even use passata or strained tomatoes if you want, some garlic, and then we're gonna add in some of our spices, some heat, and then some tomato paste to really thicken that up. Mix it all up and forget about it. Now the dough is a lot more fun, and you can do this up to 72 hours in advance. So first you want to add your yeast into your lukewarm water and give it a really good whisk for about 30 seconds. And if your water doesn't froth up like it did here, then the yeast is dead. You have to start again with fresh yeast. Then you add that into your bowl of flour along with your cold water as you start mixing with your dough hook attachment. Let that dough start to come together. You may need to add a couple splashes of cold water, as much as needed to make it soft and not sticky. Then stop the mixer, add your salt, put it back in and mix for about 30 seconds to another minute before doing it again after adding in your olive oil. Then once it's all kneaded up for another 1 to 2 minutes, then you want to kind of knead and work on that dough for about 2 to 3 minutes, or until it is more pliable. By working the dough like this and stretching and folding it, we are developing the gluten, which adds to the chewiness in your baked pizza. Now once you're done with that, just set that on your countertop with a damp piece of kitchen towel and let it sit for about 20 minutes, and then just divide it up and then kind of fold it into itself while pinching the bottoms to really have a nice even shape. Now you want to make sure when you let it rise and ferment in the fridge, it's going to be a cold rise, you have a really good seal. So wrap it with 2 layers of plastic wrap and then forget about it for about 2 to 3 days. This idea for this hashtag scary good food collaboration was by just cook the damn food, and I'm gonna put that channel down below so you can check out that and all the other recipes that are tagged to this collaboration. But let's take a look at what makes this pizza kind of Halloween themed. You'll see by the end, things don't really go the way that I wanted it to, except for my first pizza, which I'll work on right now. Now, I want to cut out some ghosts, so here's some provolone and some mozzarella. Provolone is already in slices, mozzarella is not. So I'm gonna just work on the provolone first and just use my paring knife and then make eyes and a face and try to like create arms and all with my knife. Just use your imagination, and it's gonna be fun to do it regardless of how it turns out, which is what I'm really glad about. And I also want to make like a mummy kind of pizza, so I'm gonna try to like cut like strips of cheese to really make the bandage for that other pizza. Now keep in mind, before you actually start making the pizza, you have to have your oven at 500 Fahrenheit, and I have 2 sets of stones. Well, one is a seat actually on the top of my oven, and then I have a stone at the bottom. And you want to preheat it for about 1 hour. And when you start the oven, take your dough out, take your sauce out, let that come up to room temperature. Do not assemble it, get like a dusting mixture created with some semolina and some flour that's gonna make sure that nothing sticks on your countertop. Dough comes out and directly goes on to my dusting mixture, and then you flip it and then start patting the air out as you create that edge, that rim of the pizza, and start stretching out that dough. I never use a rolling pin. Spread on your sauce, and now let's make our first pizza. So I've added in my slices of mozzarella and provolone here, and it looks pretty ghostly right now. And just to add some more creepiness, let's add in some spiders. So just some olives. I have some black and some green ones. I forget the actual names, just the generic ones honestly from the grocery store, because I'm gonna pick them out and maybe even nibble on little bits at a time, because I'm not a big fan of olive, but I don't want to waste it all either. For the actual spider body, I'm just cutting an olive in half. That's gonna make 2 bodies. And then for the legs, just cut the olives into little strips, and that's gonna make the legs. Pretty simple. We assemble it, and that pizza is looking tremendous. For the second one, I'm gonna use some pepperoni and some olive slices to make the eye. So that's what you have right here, and then some of my mozzarella and my provolone strips to make the band-aid. Let's add some spiders around there as well, and this one is looking dapper as well. Honestly, I was crossing my fingers, and regardless of how this ends up turning out, I still want a good pizza. I still want the browning of my cheese. I still want the crust to be brown. I'm not gonna give up on the flavor that I love in a pizza just for appearances. But regardless, it was a lot of fun to assemble it. Now let's put it all in the oven and see what we get. And while that happens, tell me if you've done anything like this before, and if you got any tips for me, because when I took out that mummy pizza, I was like, that pizza looks good, but my bandages melted. Basically, maybe the mozzarella sliced too thick. The provolone would have been better, but who wants a pizza with just provolone? You need that mozza on there. So, but on the other hand, the other ghost pizza turned out pretty good. The spiders are looking perfect, and I'm telling you, enjoying these pizzas was a lot of fun because the flavor is there. The crust is awesome. It added to the Halloween theme. Just making and assembling the pizza added to that kind of experience. So I think that's all that matters. You enjoyed the theme of the festival, and if you want more delicious pizza goodness, then check out another pizza that I make with the same dough recipe, which is my stuffed crust pizza. It is great. Check it out, and I'll see you on the next one.